I'm John Barnes and you're watching Redmen TV.
Hello, that's the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool taking on Tim Sherwood's Aston Villa side at Anfield this weekend. So we thought we'd talk about it. All Liverpool we've done as Liverpool fans for the last fortnight is talk about really miserable things. Doubtless it'll go that way, but let's try and focus on the match in the short term. Got Aubrey Reynolds, John Machin and Ben Mullane here to talk it through with me. Chris Pajak was here for the Reds News Roundup show, so if you're missing Chris, go and check that out on the redmentv.com, where we discussed obviously the end of Carlisle, but moreover how it impacts Brendan Rodgers and the rumours linking Carlo Ancelotti to the job and the denials and what that means. Very interesting show, best part of 50 minutes or so long, so go and check that out. Anyway, Liverpool Villa. Aubrey, under normal circumstances, I would be absolutely buzzing and looking forward to this game because I think it was the perfect game for Liverpool to have in terms of go out there, get your confidence back, get a few goals. And it should be that, but it all feels a little bit tainted at the moment.
Yeah, I disagree slightly because under normal circumstances, Villa have done well against Brendan Rodgers as Liverpool. So I've been hurt a few times.
But we've nicked the player that caused the biggest damage.
We have, and then injured them.
And then injured them just in case.
And then broke him in case he decided to do own goals. Yeah. So yeah, because I don't know, they've got a bit of a hoodoo. And it wasn't just, obviously it's not just that one manager, it wasn't just Lambert, because Sherwood, semi-final last year, which was what possibly the most disappointing thing about last year, was us bottling it in that semi-final. Yeah. And Sherwood, who I don't think is a very good manager, out-managing our manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, ideally you'd play a team like this. If you could pick a team for us to play, it'd be a home game, and it'd be against a team who've only won one all season, and that was on the opening day. Yeah. So they've gone through 5 or 6 games where they've not been great.
That makes you feel less confident somehow. Why is that?
Because of the situation we're in.
Because we are Liverpool.
Because we go again. Yeah. Unfortunately, in the same way.
I agree with Aubrey in that the Tim Sherwood thing. That I think again under any common footballing logic, I don't think he's a good manager. I think he would set his team up to try and come and beat us, and we should be able to swat them away. I just lack that confidence in general at the moment.
Well, that's inevitable the way we've been playing, I suppose. But and as Aubrey says, we never really do very well against Villa at Anfield. They seem to be able to hit us on the break. And obviously, teams hitting us on the break is just a nightmare for us, isn't it?
All teams with players who walk casually towards our centre-back pairing.
My big fear is whether we'll be able to score any goals. Yeah. Not whether we'll have possession, not whether we'll dominate the game, but whether we'll actually turn that into a match-winning couple of goals. And I'm looking forward to seeing it, as I said on the other show, because I haven't been to Anfield for a few weeks. For one reason and another. So I'm really looking forward to getting back there. And as always, I'm optimistic, and I do think we should wipe the floor with them, and we certainly owe them one after Wembley. Yeah. I just hope at the end of it, I'm not saying, why is it we can't get the best out of our forwards and Aston Villa can? In the semi-final, you saw how good Benteke can be, but then he had Delph playing very, very closely to him, and there was, and he hasn't yet develop that kind of rapport with our midfield. He's probably not going to play against Villa this time. I think he's still carrying an injury. But our midfield are not being very creative, and if we don't improve dramatically, then we're going to have problems.
I think this is the thing, Ben, you mentioned it, I think, on the Reds News Roundup, and I've been saying it for a week or two. We've got good players there. I've seen loads worse Liverpool 11s and squads than we've got there. For as much as he was maligned, Danny Ings looks absolutely worthy of being in that team. Daniel Sturridge is back to fitness now, unless something mad happens, which wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility because it's Daniel Sturridge. We've got him available to us. We've got the likes of Phil Coutinho. We should have players capable of scoring more goals than we're actually scoring this season.
Yeah, it is very frustrating at the moment. I think it's almost as if you've got like a massive percentage of the fan base who are just sort of waiting for him to get the boot now, really, and they're not really thinking about the results in a way. It's almost as if like, well, if we beat Villa, then it just delays the inevitable, but if we lose to Villa, then he's even more likely to go.
It's just this notion of like these improved performances, because the Norwich performance was much better than the two that had preceded it. Then the Bordeaux game was fine, considering what we had, and it was an away European game. you know, and even albeit against the fucking fourth division teams, which shouldn't really matter. There were good things in that game as well. It's fine having improved performances, Aubrey, but now, surely, please God, Brendan, we've got to kick on. You know, we're not gonna. That's a fine step up from being shite. It's a nice step up, but we need to actually go and be fucking good for a change.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like going from a 0 out of 10. Like 0 out of 10 was West Ham. We were a 0 or a 1. So yeah, let's celebrate a 4 or a 5. No,
That's how bad it is.
Do you know, but again,
that's it though, isn't it? You're never going to just be brilliant overnight, are you? You need to almost sort of drag yourself into form
But the sad thing is, we're talking about something ephemeral about whether we will play well enough. We should actually be sitting here talking about who's going to play, what formations are going to
exactly.
play.
Yeah,
that's all goes out the window because you're just talking about this. Why the hell aren't we playing
Why is this like? You said it on the Reds News Roundup. It looks like a dog's dinner. There's this chaotic energy that's seeped into everything about Liverpool. It's in the fans. It's in what we're talking about. It's in the players. They play with no sort of thrust or no sort of
desperation, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're like, that needs to be removed, and whether it's the true test of whether he's a good manager or not, because it looks a little bit like David Moyes at Man U, where you're worried that not only would he get sacked from that job, it was too big for him, but whether his career would ever recover from that. Yeah. Because who's going to take a chance on Rodgers if he goes? Now,
no bigger teams.
He's never going to have a big club.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So we'd have to
no other big teams.
And again, Premiership teams are pretty well stocked, so he's going to be looking towards that bottom end of it. And does he really want that? But it's the test of whether he's a good manager or not. Because I'm not convinced that whether he should go or not, the owners are going to sack him this season. I'm not sure unless it becomes untenable. So there's one thing he needs to do, and that's remove that chaotic agent. Whether it's him who's causing it and he gets sacked, or the other one is he becomes a fucking boss manager, a man motivator, and he gets his group of players together, and he does his job, which is manage them and motivate them to not be like that anymore.
You know, it just fucking does it's doing my head in at the minute, because ultimately, like I say, we've got some fucking good players there. Yeah. We're playing Aston Villa at the weekend, who are a place above the relegation zone. They're on 4 points. They've got a guy who wears fucking gilets to the match. The only man who should wear a gilet is Marty McFly, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you know what I mean? It's done. Leave it in 1985. Brendan Rodgers, you've got great talent available. You go out there and get score some fucking goals. Just go beat some teams.
He plays something a bit more settled. Yeah. Play 2 up front. You've done it now. Yeah. Stick with it. Yeah. And if Sturridge isn't fit enough to get on the pitch, stick Firmino up there alongside him. Yeah. You know, he's a good forward. If his record is anything to go by, he's not getting a chance to do that. I know. Stick Sacco back in. You know, who's certainly our best centre back. Yeah. You know, let's have some kind of continuity about what you're doing.
He's experimented a lot. We've had a lot of games, haven't we? There was obviously the European game and the Cup game with 2 league games around that. And we've possibly tried like 9 formations across 4 matches and about 30 players. You should have found something by now.
It does my head in though. Again, you know, it's the 2 up top. Okay, we seem to be going with 2 up top. Great, sound. And then we start the League Cup game with one up front. And I know Firmino technically could have joined it, but that's not where he was playing. He was definitely playing with one.
I don't think he knew where he was playing. You know, that's another worrying thing. You know, he looks to me like a very, very talented player.
He looks
like Markovic last year. Doesn't know where he should be playing.
Firmino right now looks like, when you look at the players you bring in every summer, and the absolute ideal is the half-year transfer signs away. There's masses of evidence to back that up. The best possible transfer window is you've got about 50% work out. He's already looking like he's going to be a £30 million failure, because I don't know what is that. Is he being mismanaged? Is he just not quite ready for the Premier League or whatever? But that's a big one.
I just think that he's looking at the situation, and they've looked in the summer and they've said there's a really, really talented player who we can attract to the club as a big name player, but they haven't actually. It hasn't actually. We want a specific player to play a specific role, and Markovic is exactly the same. I've got no doubt in my mind that Markovic is an extremely talented player, but it's pointless having a talented player if you're going to play most of the season at left wing back.
We've got the likes of Lallana and Coutinho who play as a number 10 or certainly behind the forwards, and he brings in Firmino, who's got a track record of playing as a forward, and he wants to make him another Coutinho.
It pains me to say it because I hate the bellend, but Mourinho is a world class manager because he went into Chelsea there, and you look at when Mata got Player of the Year, he was phenomenal for Chelsea. He really was phenomenal. He went, you don't fit my team, and he went, sort of thing. And it almost is as if like you can't play Lallana and Coutinho. They're never ever going to get the best out of them if you play them out of position. It's just not going to work.
But that's the difference, isn't
and
it?
His squad's strong, really strong, but it's massively imbalanced.
Yeah, he talks a lot about when he's recruiting players and when the question comes around to the window, how he likes players who are multifunctional.
Yeah.
And he likes players who can play a variety of positions. And unfortunately,
we've got too many.
We've got too many who cover several, but master none of them. You've got no one who you
jack of all trades squads. It
is, and it's
but
like
but those people who are jack of all trades could become a master if they got specifically played in a position. And again, it's my favourite word, fluency. You're never going to get any fluency if you're constantly changing people. We've bought Klein in the summer as a right back, and then all of a sudden 6 games in we switched to a wing back formation, and he looks crap.
He looks crap,
but he doesn't look anywhere near as capable as what he does as a right back.
Seem to have any inclination to go past full
he looks as good a right wing back as Moreno looks a left back.
Exactly, and that sums
and
it up.
There's your imbalance all over, isn't it? Like, that is the exact. That's how you describe it.
As I say, I'm probably one of the last people who wants Rodgers to succeed, but that is Rodgers' fault. It's got to be Rodgers' fault.
Absolutely. I think we've got to move this on a little bit, just in terms of the personnel. Daniel Sturridge absolutely has to start this game. Yeah. 100%. I think absolutely has to start this game as well. And it might be a bit of an ask, but the fact that he was withdrawn against Carlisle, Joe Allen. I think Lucas actually was one of the standout performers against Norwich, but you shouldn't have been. No, you shouldn't have needed him to be.
No, but Lucas will play though. I'm almost sure because he was rested, wasn't he?
And the thing about Lucas is that he's not going to stop that daft goal that we concede every week. Because
he hasn't done it so far.
That's not his job to do that. No. His job is to stop us coming under lots of pressure through the middle, not to.
But if we're not playing against a team that puts us under a lot of pressure, which a lot of teams don't, just break on us and score with one chance.
Are we thinking that we're leaning towards we kind of go with the team that, if not necessarily started, but kind of finished the Norwich game to some extent? So, Ings and Sturridge up front. The back three will be Sacco, Skrtel and Chan.
I personally rather see Gomez.
I would. I think there is a decision
Chan
to be made.
played really well, I thought, last night, but
there's a decision to be made in terms of midfield, because I think that's a big thing that's letting us down at the minute. We discussed this on the Residence Round. Milner's doing all the pressing, but Lucas doesn't have that in his game. So I think I'd like to see more of Allen and Milner, because. Yeah, Allen doesn't have the absolute physicality of a Jordan Henderson or whatever, but he does have the mobility. He does have a similar level of mobility. And again, we talked about like Danny Ings being Suarez light, but find people who can find players who can fulfill one of the important bits, if not all of the bits that the guy you've got missing does. Like, so I'd like to see Allen start that game.
He's never going to do it, but I'd love him to play a flat back four and play Gomez and Sacco as the centre halves.
Yeah, I think that's the question. But the problem is, again, it's just what do you stick? Do you stick with 3 at the back because it's been slightly better, or do you twist the game trying to find another formation that works?
The sad thing is that under Rodgers, he could quite easily change it again, couldn't he? I just wish he'd just stick with something. Just make your mind up, mate. Stick with it.
The problem is, and it's what we've kind of talked about, if you go to a back four, especially if you're playing Gomez in the centre half, which I think would be decent, Moreno's got to be a left back, and he's not a good enough left back.
No, he's not.
So then if you play the 3, Klein's not a good enough wing, so there's no option.
It's fucking shot. You know what? It does again, I keep saying this expression. It's fucking Aston Villa, and they're fine. You know what I mean? They're fine. There's nothing wrong with Aston Villa. Good, solid Premier League side. But I'm sorry, but if the manager can't fucking put with that players, the amount of players in the squad he's got available to him, you're playing at home. If he can't tactically outwit Tim Sherwood, in addition to having far better players, then again, why the fuck are you Liverpool manager?
And owning them one.
Exactly. Well, why? What's the point? Go away. Just go and get a different job. Walk away, because there will be someone out there, and I don't know who it is, throw names in a hat, go wild. But, you know, somebody is capable of doing more, of doing that. Of looking at Villa and going, why have we constantly got managers? We said this, why does Keith Cairn know how to beat fucking Liverpool? Why does every manager know what our weaknesses are? And yet we don't seem to be able to find other teams' weaknesses and exploit them.
I think Rodgers...
Whose job is that? Whose job is that? Find out and fucking let Brendan Rodgers know.
Yeah. I think Rodgers is capable of it, but he's such a broken man at the moment. He just doesn't. He's lost him. He says he's lost his identity. I've lost track how many times I've heard pundits and people say it over the last few months. We've lost our identity, and that's it. And him more than anybody else, and we don't know whether we're attacking or defending.
Okay, so that was Boss.
Score prediction.
Well,
Yeah, score predictions. Hey, 5-0.
Yeah. To Villa.
Go on, Ben, what you having?
Um,
Well, we don't score any more than 1 goal a game.
no, so therefore I'll just be controversial and say 2-1 Liverpool.
2 goals in the game.
What?
I'm going to say.
Got to score 2 by accident soon.
Eventually.
I'm going to say 3-1.
Okay.
1-1.
Yeah. It's got 1-1 written all over it, this game, hasn't it?
I really want to say 2-2, but I really.
You don't want to be that bad, yeah. Well, I was going to go 2-1 to Villa, but no. No, I think it'll be 1-0. I don't think it's going to get worse.
I think the base level score of this game is 1-1, and it will be decided. And I think that literally it's sliding doors on Brendan Rodgers' future.
derby.
If we sneak a 2-1 win, then you know the green shoots are covering all that. If they sneak a 2-1 win, then it's straight down the
But if it ends up a draw, it's all about the derby, and basically that's his Liverpool.
Imagine getting the fucking boot after the derby, though. Like,
But
'cause
that's it.
what, you know
It
what
follows an international break, doesn't it?
Though,
Because there's time for people to think about it.
I was thinking about this with the after beating Carlisle, that I actually kind of want us to sack Brendan Rodgers after a win. You know what it sounds weird, like, but you know, just to say this is not about individual results now. It's about the fact that it's all wrong and it's all going in the wrong direction. You know, it's a bit of a weird one because ultimately I can't stand that sentiment of I just want Liverpool to lose games so the manager will go. Maybe I'll get there on Rodgers because I was defo there on Hodgson. But I hope I don't end up there. I hope they're able to be decisive.
Well, I hope the owners are sensible enough to realise when enough's enough.
Yeah.
Regardless.
The good thing about the owners is that they're not scousers and they're not fans.
Yeah.
So they'll probably take a little bit more objective view of the situation. Think, you know what, we'll give
guys
them
casting us a fortune.
we'll give them till January window and we'll see where we're at then.
That was defo a Boston accent, by the way.
yeah.
Because you're wondering, bastard.
See how quickly I moved on there just to
Casting
avoid
as a
that one.
fart. Yeah, no, I'll have to work on that. This guy ain't wicked smart. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up there. Let us know your thoughts on my Bostonian accent in the comments below, and score predictions and who you think should start, and anything else as well. We've got loads more discussion on the Red News Roundup show this week on the redmentv.com. We'll annotate that on the right hand side of the end card on the video, so click through, check it out. It's Boss. Anyway, thanks for watching. There's also a whole new set of Redmen TV merchandise, which no one is wearing because Chris is gone. There'll be a little picture of that in the bottom right hand corner. Yeah, Heisenberg merchandise. Yeah, there's a little picture in the bottom right hand corner of the end card. Go and check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Ta.
Hello and welcome to the Start 11 prediction show. I've got the fun task of predicting the starting 11 for Liverpool against Aston Villa at the weekend in the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff at Anfield.